Okay, I'm not going to show you me snapping all of the beans. I think that's something that's best left to nice days out on the porch, sitting with family, snapping them, especially if there's a good thunderstorm. But I snap them two different ways. Sometimes I like nice, straight, perfect ones, or the nice size ones, even if they've got a little bend to them. And for like eating, I like those best, just for like everyday eating. But you can't fit as many that size into a jar. Now, I snap some in half or more, or they may only be that big. The big meteor ones had the big beans in them. I always snap those in half, and I think those work best for like you can eat them every day, which I do, or casseroles. Casseroles are awesome. Okay, let's get these into some jars. Before we jar them, I did forget to mention, you want to make sure they're nice and clean. So I'll actually let them soak in the water just a little bit, and I'll transfer them over to that, and we'll rinse them off. Now, let's rinse them off, and then we'll get them into the jars. These are the straight ones. As you tell, I don't always do all the straight ones, but pretty much just go like that. And give them a good rinsing. And if they came from your garden or farmer's market or something like that, they'll probably have grass and dirt on them. I try to get most of the grass off before I wet them. That way it's easier to get off. But you can get it off anytime. It's just, and if you eat a little, you eat a little. That's kind of the way it goes. Alright, now let me go ahead and drain those off. Oh, another side note. See these purple ones? Don't worry. When you cook them, they all turn green. Alright, let's get these over to the jars, and I'll bring you back. Oh, and always make sure you sanitize. Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. These were put away clean, but I keep them in a cupboard out in the garage, so they will be put into, yeah, that's steam you see coming up. My water is very hot here. Soapy water, and we'll let them soak in that and get hot, and then we'll wash them off, rinse them out, and pack them full. Okay, so as you see, I got some of them in the jar already. That's just the longer ones, and I'll get more longer ones out of here that look good, because that wasn't enough. So when I'm filling the jars, pretty much just grab handfuls and kind of put them in. Not that hard. A little bit harder with only one hand. That one go in there. And that's pretty much it. Okay, I'll get the rest of these filled and bring you back and show you before we put them in the pressure cooker. Okay, I didn't quite have enough of green beans to fill up all the jars, so you luck out and you get to watch me snap some. It is just super captivating. Like I said, I'm cutting them about like that. That's why I like them. Now I weighed the other jar, and truth be told, I do that all the time. I start talking and I'm not paying attention. I throw the ends in the good bucket. Truth be told, you get about the way I did it, I got about 2 ounces more in the splice jar than I did in the straight jar. So in other words, like this one, for the straight jar, I just put it like that. So 2 ounces may not sound like a lot, but it adds up real quick. And 1 quart jar usually is about 1 meal for my family. Now, I don't know, I might do some pint jars, because pint jars are just about perfect for soups. Like if you want to mix one in with some soup or something. All right, let's go wash them. Okay, we'll fill up this last jar here. And you want to fill them up, leave about an inch head space. And I've got a little bit of room in the other ones just in case. Because this one will probably, I don't know, will be close. There. Throw a couple in one of the other ones. And we're set. Okay. So next, I already had some over here. We're going to get water boiling if you don't already have it. Now this part is optional. I like it this way. This is the way I've always had it done. So, and that's adding salt. If you're doing quarts, 1 teaspoon of salt. Like I said, this is optional. If you'd rather have a no salt diet, they will preserve just fine without salt. I like mine with the salt. And like I said, 1 quart gets a teaspoon. A pint will get half a teaspoon of salt. And I like, some people put it in the bottom of the jar and then put them in and everything. I like doing it this way because then the water kind of dissipates it all. Now, let's put the boiling water in. This is why you want your glass to be warm too, because you don't want it to get a shock and crack. My little teapot here is enough to do 3.5 usually. So let me boil some more and we'll get it filled up. Alright, we'll finish them off. This is called cold packing. That means they're 100% they're raw. You can hot pack, which means you boil them, I think, for like 5 minutes, and then take them out and put them in. Doing it that way, you will get more in each jar. But to me, it's a step I just don't really need to do. I'd rather just do the cold pack. Not that I'm saying it's wrong to do the hot pack. You do you. I'm showing you how I'm doing it. Come back and top off a little bit. Okay. Now, they do make a tool for this. I can't find mine. And the tool usually you can go like that and it's got a marker for 1 inch. You just want to hit around the outsides. Now if you can see those bubbles coming up or not. You want to get as many of those bubbles out as you can. And usually once I'm done doing that. See, it's pretty loose in there. I could have packed a lot more in there. That one's good. Okay, now that I'm done, I still like to give them a little bit of bounce here. I think that helps get any other air bubbles out. See that one? You don't really have to do this spot. You can just use water. I like to wipe the rims off with a little bit of vinegar, because if you're ever canning something that is oily or greasy, the vinegar will actually get rid of it. All right. Now my lids, they say you don't have to do it anymore. I've had them over in hot water to kind of soften the lids up. You used to have to do that. I still do it. So then put your lid on. And then your rings. See how tight? That's it. You don't have to have them super tight. Just snug them. I usually go down until it stops, then give it just a little bit more of a turn. Notice I'm only using one hand. One wide mouth. Okay, now time to put them in. Okay, now to prepare the pressure cooker, you want to, it depends on your pressure cooker. Mine, the All-American, says that you want 2 to 3 inches of water in the pan. So, I don't know if you can see that line right there, kind of goes around. That's about 2 3/4 inch. So that's what I fill it up to. And that line is just from the water being in there from my last use. It actually comes out to about, on this one, 1.5 gallons. And this isn't bottled water or anything, this is just the jug I'm using to pour it in. I'm almost there. So right about there. And then actually you see the line up top. That's once I put the 7 jars in, that's where the water line went to. Once you get your water in, you want to put the bottom plate in. And that's what'll hold your jars up. And now we're ready to put the jars in. Okay, it's up to you if you just want to hand put them in or if you want to use something like that. I definitely use this to take them out. Just can go like that, grabs right by that glass jar there, works great. When you put them in, you can use it, and then if they should happen to break, you're golden. You're not going to have a worry about it. Me, I will usually just put them in by hand. Now over here, I like to go ahead and get the stove going and get the water good and warm. It's warm, it's not boiling yet, and then we can put the jars in. Alright, and as you see, mine holds 7 quart-sized jars. And I let that heat up just a little bit. And then with mine, as you see, there is no rubber. You just have to oil that seal right there and then hook her on. So I'll get that going and I'll bring you back. Okay, that's the nice thing about these. There's no rubber seal in there. You can use vegetable oil, animal fat, pretty much anything you want that's oily to create that seal between there. And then I'm not going to explain to you how to do the handles and everything. Follow your owner's manual if you have an All-American like this. Follow your owner's manual if you have one of the other kinds. This one has my gauge, and then it's got the blow off. Now, for my elevation in that, like I said, check your stuff. I will go to the 10 pound. So we will wait until the steam cup starts coming out of the hole there, the relief valve. And then once it starts coming out, wait for 5 minutes. Put the weight on. Wait until it starts jiggling, at least a couple times a minute. And then you want to make sure that this gauge gets up to the 10 pounds. Usually mine sits about 12, 12 and a half. And you want to turn the heat down so it stays right there. And then you will process these for 25 minutes in the quart jars or 20 minutes in the pint jars. So once they're done, or we get to the jiggling point, I'll bring you back. Okay, we've been venting for about 5 minutes. Now we'll drop, see we're not hardly any pressure in there. Drop the 10 on. Now she's quiet. And then just sit here and wait. And that temp will, or the pressure will go up. Once it hits about 10, I'll lower the temperature to keep it about between 10 and 12. Like I said before, these are quarts, so we're going to do 25 minutes, 20 minutes for pints, and then we'll take them out. I'll bring you back when we take them out. Okay, so you have to let it cool off after the 25 minutes, and once you get down to 0, you want to take your weight off, and this could be hot, so you may want to use something. And then, if you could hear that, you want to let it rest for about 5 minutes, and then once that 5 minutes is up, then you can take the lid off and take the jars out to cool. And it wouldn't be a video if we didn't see Gracie. Hey, sweetie girls. And there you go. You got to hear one pop. Might not even be able to see it. Got that one right there is the only one left. Oop, nope, I'm wrong. That one and that one. Thanks, and we'll hope to see you on the next one.